I believe with all my heart we are in the middle of an age where God has set the stage for His people as never before. There will unfortunately be disaster, chaos, civil unrest, and very burdensome times for many. But this can be the very time spoken of when the wealth of the nations is poured out upon His people. The very time when the people rejoice because the righteous rule. The time when all nations will come to your light and mighty kings will come to see your radiance. The time when merchants from around the world will come to the people of God, and as the scriptures say, the wealth of the sea will be converted unto me. This may very well be that time when your gates stay open around the clock to receive the wealth of many nations, and your bronze will be exchanged for gold, your iron for silver, your wood for bronze, and your stones for iron, the time when the old proverb is replaced with the new one. For no longer shall these prophecies come to nothing, but that the time would be now for every prophecy to be fulfilled. Over the last decade, I've quietly collected facts and knowledge and sifted through information to find what seems to align most with truth, and then applied godly wisdom to the best of my ability to see what He may have our role to be today. Although controversial to an untrained eye, I believe we are in a time so very critical to start understanding the fundamentals of commodities, but gold and silver in particular, and the monetary history of what has happened in many other great nations, and then consider what we currently see taking place in our nation. There are many things read about in the Bible and Revelation that cause people to really start freaking out, entertaining these cyclones of crazy thoughts of when and how the world will end. However, that's not what I have done, and it's not what I plan to do. Although there are references to control, powers, and forces at hand in the last days that we can undeniably match up with what we read about today in our world, such as the One World Order. This is not some big secret, and is not a conspiracy theory. But rather, these are facts as clear as day right in front of us for those who have the attention span to look at it and the energy to consider it. The One World Order is real, and it is an advancing agenda in the hearts of many world leaders, including the leaders of this country. Please understand that the devaluing of the US dollar is something that is essentially planned. It must happen for the One World Order to proceed. It won't just be the dollar losing its value while this nation's debts are being realized, but also the other nations of the world seeing their currencies devalued as their debts go into default, such as Greece just recently. The US dollar, however, holds the most weight in the world's economy, being on the other side of nearly 90% of all world transactions going on. Thus, many more world currencies will be chasing up the value of gold and silver, as it has historically always been the only true currency. There is a window of time that is about to start where, because gold and silver were bought today at today's relatively low costs, and then sold and spent at the time when the dollar has officially lost its battle with the debts of this nation, that these people will have experienced returns on their initial precious metal savings that were unimaginable. An example of what can be predicted may come from the historical facts of the past, when gold has jumped 721% right after taking quite the dip in price as it has the past few years. And much greater returns are expected for gold and silver when the current monetary system collapses. The world will then ultimately be under great pressure to adopt a new currency for legal tender that will all come from a central source, a central bank, if you will. And the more secretive agenda behind all of this is to accomplish world socialism. And socialism is absolutely satanic to its core. It is the greatest example of a wolf in sheep's clothing. For the past 5 years or so, I've also felt that I must get a savings of gold and silver to help protect who I am and what I have in the midst of a financial collapse. So I've kept my eyes and ears open for a company that offers the sale of physical gold and silver, but then also the storage and repurchasing of it to provide the safety but also the liquidity I desire in unknown times. and the company came clear into focus for me one day. They are the only company that offers such purchases to be made, and from one of the finest refineries in the world located in Switzerland. You can buy physical gold and silver incrementally through monthly payments to accrue toward your precious metal investments, and while practically having the safety of an offshore Swiss bank account away from the prying eyes of our more local governments. This provides you with an instantaneous savings plan you must have now, so that you're not left in the dust of a financial collapse most guaranteed to come. This savings plan allows for as little as a $25 monthly payment to start saving precious metals now. Gold and silver has usually been something considered by the wealthy because of difficulties in purchasing power. However, this plan allows for gold and silver investing and savings to be held in the hands of average people with an average income. So I encourage you to take your position as someone who believes God is not done yet bringing His people to a place of influence to change the world for His sake. But it starts with having the money to do so. And unless you can say your money falls from the sky for you like manna from heaven, you may want to seriously consider the opportunity you're being told about right now to obtain your own savings plan of gold and silver before it's just too late.